Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with the beautiful Karina, my lovely prometida. Now, Karina is from Caracas, Venezuela, currently and legally living in Bogota, Colombia for the past 5 years, and I live in the Panhandle of Florida, near Pensacola, north of Navarre Beach. And we are waiting for our K-1 visa to get adjudicated at the Service Center in California, just like many of you guys are waiting for your K-1 visa also. Now, part of the K-1 visa process requires vaccinations. Vaccinations, immunizations. And so come on along and check out this video on how to get proof of your vaccinations if you've lost your vaccination records. You've lost your records. What do? Come on along. In order to satisfy the immunization vaccination requirements for USCIS, U.S. Immigration, U.S. State Department, you will need to find your medical documentation that verifies your vaccination history. If you cannot find your vaccination records, your documentation, you could always contact your mom, your dad, your parents, your family. I'm sure they have got your vaccination document somewhere, no matter how old you are, okay? Now, a lot of you folks out there, you had your vaccinations when you were very young, when you were babies, and mom or dad usually keep a record of that unless they gave it to you, and you stuffed it in a drawer somewhere and you cannot find it. Now, if you cannot find your vaccination records, or mom and dad can't find it, you could always contact your pediatrician. Your mom and dad should know who your pediatrician was when you were a baby. I'm sure they have a record somewhere of your vaccinations. This is to help you not have to repeat vaccinations that you may not remember that you had. But come on, watch the video and I'll explain that also. Many of these vaccination records, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are downloadable from your doctor when you were a baby. So you have explored every avenue to find your vaccination documents. You've asked mom or dad, you've checked with your doctor, your pediatrician. Nobody can find your vaccination records. Now you know you had your vaccinations when you were a baby. You know you did, and you don't want to get a repeat needle in the arm, right? Right, okay. Now, you can ask your doctor to perform what's known as a titer test or a blood test, okay? And this titer test will test for immunity, for measles, mumps, rubella, etc. And they'll do a blood test on you, and the blood test analysis will tell the doctor what vaccinations you've had and what vaccinations you haven't had by the antibodies in your blood, in the blood. Now, I'm not a doctor by any means. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not an immigration attorney, and I'm not a member, and I don't work for USCIS. But this is information to help you guys, all right? Get through this horrible immigration process. So if you get a titer test, it's basically a blood test, okay? This test will indicate whether you have immunity to a particular disease or not. And remember, a positive result means that you are immune to this particular disease, and a negative result means that you are not immune to a particular disease, and you're going to need a vaccination if it's required by U.S. immigration. For example, mumps, measles, chicken pox, rubella, hepatitis B, hepatitis C. So if you cannot find your vaccination documents, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and you don't want to get another bunch of needles stuck in your arm for vaccinations, ask your doctor to do a titer test on you, get the results, get your blood analyzed, and they will be able to tell you what vaccinations you need and what vaccinations you don't need. But it's just to help you guys. Hang in there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You will get your K-1 visa. Be patient. This is not a fast process at all. But it's worth it. And in the end, you get your fiance with you, you get married, and you get to live in the United States of America and start a family, start your life together And we can't wait for that to happen, okay? Take care, hang in there, and we will see you soon in the United States of America.
I'll be back.